Good evening. Or afternoon. It's not evening, is it? Afternoon.
I wish it were evening.
Not used to these noon meetings here, but good to see everybody. Everybody's bright and shiny faces and a lot of excitement in the room. It definitely confirms that this board is going in the right direction, so we really appreciate y'all's support here. I call this meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that a notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. At this time on the agenda, are there any board members that oppose us not going into executive session or closed session? All right, if there are none, then we'll move on down to our action items. Action items that we have presented before us are consider approval of naming the new superintendent of schools. And before we entertain a motion in regards to that, the board has had the opportunity to review the contract that Mr. Edwards has set forth before us. And that's probably the reason we're not going into closed session, because we are all on the same page and agree with moving forward with that. And so, Mr. Edwards, we want to definitely thank you for presenting that to us in a very professional way, very modest and a very humble way, and it was very impressive going through the process. And you had such a non-selfish presence about presenting that contract, and so it was really sincere, and it was really great to see where your heart is about moving this district forward, and so we really do appreciate that. Do any of the board members have any discussion about this action item? All right, this time I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract and naming of the new superintendent of schools.
I move that the board approve the employment contract and name Mr. Barry Edwards as the new superintendent of BISD, or Bastrop ISD.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Congratulations, Mr. Edwards. I know that Mr. Edwards did have a few things to say, and before he did that, with us we do have Meredith, Mr. Edwards' wife, and Victoria, one of his daughters there. We're so glad y'all could be here. And when I walked in, I did ask. I said, Meredith, is this what you want? She said, absolutely. We can. She said, we can help take this district forward, and we're excited, and that's awesome. Edwards.
All right. Well, first of all, thank the Board of Trustees for allowing me the opportunity to continue to serve in this wonderful district. I feel privileged. I'm quite humbled, to be very honest with you, about your unanimous support. And I want everyone to clearly understand that I understand the tremendous responsibility I'm accepting as the superintendent of Bastrop Schools. I just want to be very clear on that. I want to commit to everyone in this room, to the board, that I will do this with every bit of effort that I have for the betterment of this school district, the community, the teachers, and most importantly for our kids. And I would be remiss if I didn't start by thanking the people. You don't get to a point in your career without many, many people that support you along the way. So it all started in 1965. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to but I am going to start. I truly am going to start with, as a student teacher, Miss Charlene Vogel. She was my cooperating teacher, and I thank her for holding me accountable, and I mean very seriously holding me accountable to the ideal that all students can learn and will learn if we have high expectations for them, but more importantly of ourselves as we work with our kids. I do want to acknowledge the first grade level team that I ever had the pleasure of working with for teaching me how to teach and learn. My wife was a part of that team. I thank her.
She's still teaching.
Yeah, she's still teaching. Who continues to provide mentorship whether I want it or not. Victoria, am I lying? To Ann Garrett, taught me about administration, who challenged me so early as a young administrator, and taught me what it truly was to work and to be a servant leader, and never to forget that, and that you're here to serve people. And I thank her for that. And to those of you in here in this room, for welcoming me many years ago, the girls in HR, Sandra, Nancy, I can't name everybody, but for your passion for this district, I didn't ever really think I'd be here this long, but the people here are so genuine and so committed to what we do, and I think each of you specifically. To the rest of you, the community, during these last 120 days, I've had the opportunity to meet so many people and get really close to it and sincerely listen. I see Becky Womble from the Chamber and the mayor's here, and it's wonderful, and I appreciate your support. But what I learned through that was we can't fail with the commitment and the volunteerism and the support that we have throughout this community. They want us to succeed, ladies and gentlemen. We will succeed. We just have to pull it together. And to each and every one of you that I work with, that I have the pleasure of working with, whether you realize this or not, you've challenged me, you've motivated me, you've inspired me in these very hallways as I walk through during the course of business, whether it's a small little chat, a piece of advice you think is really great. I'm kidding. Constructive criticism, I thank each one of you. To our principals, being on your campus, no better place to be. Thank you for all that you do, and our classroom teachers that I've had the pleasure of being in their room. I thank all of you. But most importantly, this is the hardest part, thanking my girls at home. Anyone who knows me or has ever been around me, they know that I'm all about the home. Thank you to Meredith, my wonderful wife, my loving daughters, Victoria and Madeline, Madeline couldn't be with us today. You inspire me through your accomplishments and your unending support, and I'm grateful for that, and I love you. Thank you. But as the superintendent, I always have to give an assignment, as you know. In closing, sincerely, before we leave here today, I do want to ask each one of you to just take a moment to stop and think about the importance of educating the children of this community. Just take a moment, please. Our work here in Bastrop and the greater Bastrop community demands bright, hard-working individuals such as yourselves, and we must be fully engaged. We have to come together to support each other as one so that we can move this community, because it's not just about the schools, it's all of us. And as one, we can be successful. Again, I thank you for the opportunity to serve and look forward to what we will accomplish together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
There's some people out in the hall. Maybe we could ask if we could.
Sure.
Judge Poppy, you can come in.
And let some of them come in.
Come on in, Judge Poppy. I may need your support.
Yeah, well, got Judge Poppy and then.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Dr. Yes. We're almost there. Barry just got through giving a great speech, and Dr. Estrada Thomas, thank you, new superintendent from Hutto, for being here. And we may have some others, but thank you again. Just the smiles on your face and the excitement is really a good feeling, I know personally for me as a board member in this decision. So thank you for being here. With that, are there any objections to adjourning this meeting and going and having some cake? If there are none, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.